Life often moves too fast. Words are spoken, moments are missed, and sometimes people we love feel hurt without us even realizing it. A broken heart can form in silence, quietly deepening as time passes, leaving regret in its place. What if the opportunity to repair, to heal, to restore connection is still within your reach, but only if you act now? The power of a sincere apology can change everything. It can dissolve distance, rebuild trust, and transform pain into understanding. This is not about waiting for the perfect time. It's about courage, honesty, and taking the first step to mend what has been broken. Even a small gesture of care can spark profound healing that touches both the other person and yourself. Before it's too late, the choice is yours. The words you speak today, the apology you give, can unlock peace, restore connection, and heal hearts that have long been hurting. Your actions now can change everything. Many people delay saying sorry because they believe time will fix everything. They assume silence will soften pain. But silence often deepens wounds instead of healing them. Broken relationships do not repair themselves just because days pass. What was left unsaid keeps echoing in the heart. This is why the message feels urgent now. Something needs to be addressed before regret becomes permanent. Deep inside, there is often a quiet reminder that something is unfinished. A memory returns without warning. A face appears in the mind during quiet moments. This is not coincidence. It is awareness rising. Healing begins when truth is faced honestly. Ignoring that inner signal only increases emotional distance and inner unrest. Many hearts carry guilt, not because they are bad, but because they never corrected what went wrong. Words spoken in anger, actions done without thought, absence during moments that mattered. These things stay alive in memory. Saying sorry is not weakness. It is responsibility. It is a step toward emotional freedom and inner peace. Waiting too long has consequences. People move on, doors close. Opportunities to heal disappear. What could have been restored with one honest conversation becomes a lifelong regret. This is why now matters. Healing broken hearts often begins with one brave step taken before it is too late. Apologies are often avoided because pride disguises itself as self-protection. People fear losing dignity. They fear being misunderstood. They fear rejection. Yet holding on to pride costs far more than releasing it. It creates emotional isolation. It builds invisible walls between people who once cared deeply. Many broken hearts were not destroyed by hatred, but by misunderstanding. Small conflicts grew because no one paused to listen. Silence replaced communication. Distance replaced warmth. Healing requires clarity. Saying sorry opens the door for understanding. It allows truth to replace assumptions and resentment. There is power in acknowledging mistakes without defending them. A sincere apology does not explain away pain. It recognizes it. This recognition alone can soften years of bitterness. It tells the other person they mattered, that their pain was real, that they were seen even if late. Healing relationships improves emotional health and inner stability. Carrying unresolved conflict affects sleep, focus, and peace of mind. Reconciliation brings relief. It restores emotional balance. Saying sorry is not about the past alone. It shapes the future. It frees both hearts from silent suffering. Many people believe they need the perfect words before reaching out. They wait for confidence. They wait for courage. But healing does not require perfect language. It requires honesty. A simple admission can mean more than a long explanation. What matters is intention, not perfection. Broken hearts often feel invisible. They suffer quietly. They replay moments where they felt ignored or dismissed. When someone finally acknowledges that pain, it changes everything. Even if trust is not restored instantly, the healing process begins. Time becomes an ally instead of an enemy. Saying sorry does not guarantee forgiveness, but it offers peace of conscience. It releases emotional weight. It ends the cycle of internal blame. Taking responsibility restores self-respect. It proves growth. It shows maturity. It allows a person to move forward without carrying unresolved guilt. Before life moves further ahead, it is wise to pause and reflect. Who was hurt unintentionally? Who was left without closure? Healing starts with awareness. Acting on that awareness changes lives. Delaying only deepens loss. Choosing reconciliation now keeps regret from defining the future. Sometimes the hardest apologies are owed to the people who once felt closest. Familiarity can slowly turn into neglect. What was once warmth becomes routine. Messages go unanswered. Presence fades. Over time, emotional distance forms without anyone noticing it clearly. Healing starts when this pattern is recognized honestly. Many broken hearts were not caused by cruelty, but by absence. Being physically present yet emotionally unavailable leaves deep marks. People remember when they felt ignored during moments of need. Those memories stay alive. A sincere apology acknowledges not just actions, but the lack of care that hurt more than words. Reaching out after a long silence feels uncomfortable. Fear of rejection grows stronger with time, but silence has already caused damage. Taking responsibility interrupts that damage. It shifts the story. It shows growth. It proves that awareness has replaced indifference. Repairing emotional bonds improves mental clarity and peace. Carrying unresolved distance creates inattention. When a person chooses to apologize, the burden lightens. Even if the relationship does not fully return, honesty brings closure. Closure allows healing to continue without bitterness. Some people avoid apologizing because they believe the past should stay buried. They assume reopening old wounds will cause more pain. In reality, unspoken pain never disappears. It stays active beneath the surface. Healing requires acknowledgement, not avoidance. When someone hears an honest apology, it validates their experience. It confirms that their feelings were not imagined. This validation can ease years of emotional stress. It helps them release resentment. It gives them permission to heal instead of holding on to silent anger. Apologies also change the person who offers them. Admitting mistakes strengthens emotional maturity. It improves self-awareness. It reduces internal conflict. Accepting responsibility builds character. It encourages healthier communication in future relationships. Delaying reconciliation often leads to regret. Time does not guarantee another chance. People change. Circumstances shift. Distance becomes permanent. Acting now prevents unnecessary loss. Choosing to heal broken hearts protects the future from unresolved emotional damage. Sometimes the need to apologize becomes clear during quiet moments. A sudden memory, a feeling of heaviness, a sense that something remains unresolved. These signals are not random. They reflect emotional truth asking to be addressed. Ignoring these moments leads to inner restlessness. The mind revisits the same events repeatedly. Sleep becomes disturbed. Peace feels incomplete. Healing begins when action replaces avoidance. Saying sorry brings clarity where confusion once lived. Apologies do not erase the past, but they redefine it. They show growth beyond old behavior. They prove lessons were learned. Even when forgiveness takes time, the effort itself matters. It restores dignity on both sides. Life moves quickly. Opportunities to heal do not wait forever. Acting with humility prevents lasting regret. Choosing honesty over comfort changes emotional outcomes. Healing broken hearts begins with courage. That courage shapes a better tomorrow. Many broken relationships begin with small moments of misunderstanding. A careless sentence, a delayed response, a tone that felt cold. These moments may seem minor at first, but they slowly pile up. Over time, what was once closeness turns into emotional distance. Healing starts when these small moments are taken seriously instead of dismissed. People often underestimate how deeply words can affect others. Even unintentional remarks can stay in someone's memory for years. They replay conversations in their mind, wondering what they did wrong. An apology helps release this mental burden. It reassures them that the pain they felt was real and acknowledged. Facing someone you hurt requires humility. It means letting go of excuses. It means listening instead of defending. This process can feel uncomfortable, but discomfort is temporary. Regret lasts much longer. Choosing honesty opens the door to emotional repair and inner peace. When apologies are offered sincerely, they create space for healing. They do not force reconciliation, but they allow it. Even if the relationship changes, emotional clarity remains. That clarity frees both hearts from unresolved tension and silent pain. Some people delay apologizing because they fear reopening emotional wounds. They believe silence protects both sides. In reality, silence keeps pain alive. It traps emotions without resolution. Healing requires communication, even when it feels difficult. An apology does not have to be dramatic or long. Simple honesty carries more power than perfect wording. Acknowledging mistakes without blaming circumstances shows growth. It tells the other person they mattered enough to be heard and respected. Unresolved conflict affects emotional health in hidden ways. It increases stress. It drains focus. It affects how people relate to others. Letting go of guilt through apology improves emotional balance. It allows the mind to rest instead of constantly revisiting the past. Choosing to heal broken hearts is an act of maturity. It shows awareness beyond ego. It prioritizes peace over pride. Acting now prevents emotional distance from becoming permanent. Time should be used to repair, not to delay. There are moments in life when reflection becomes unavoidable. A quiet evening, a familiar song, a memory that resurfaces without warning. These moments invite honesty. They reveal unfinished emotional business that needs attention. Avoiding these reflections creates inner resistance. The heart knows something is unresolved. Ignoring it increases emotional weight. Healing begins when action follows awareness. Saying sorry transforms reflection into resolution. Apologies also influence personal growth. They build emotional intelligence. They strengthen communication skills. They encourage empathy. Taking responsibility reshapes character and prepares healthier relationships ahead. Life does not pause for unresolved feelings. Opportunities pass quietly. Acting with sincerity protects the future from regret. Healing broken hearts is not about the past alone. It is about choosing peace, clarity, and emotional freedom moving forward. Many people carry unresolved regret without realizing how deeply it shapes their behavior. It shows up in hesitation. It appears in avoidance. It affects how openly they connect with others. This hidden weight often comes from moments where they should have spoken, but chose silence instead. When someone is hurt and never receives acknowledgement, the pain hardens over time. It becomes part of how they see relationships. An apology, even delayed, can soften that hardness. It reminds them that accountability still exists. That care did not fully disappear. Taking responsibility does not rewrite history, but it changes its meaning. It shows that mistakes were understood, that growth happened afterward. This shift can bring relief to both sides, even if closeness is not fully restored. Healing broken hearts also heals the one who apologizes. Emotional clarity replaces confusion. Peace replaces restlessness. Addressing the past creates space for a healthier future, built on honesty rather than avoidance. Some people believe apologizing makes them vulnerable to judgment. They fear losing respect, but avoiding responsibility damages respect far more than admitting fault. Authenticity builds trust. Deflection destroys it. Apologies help correct emotional narratives that formed in silence. When no explanation is given, people often blame themselves. They assume they were not worthy of care. A sincere apology can undo years of self-doubt and emotional confusion. This act does not require reopening every detail of the past. It requires acknowledging impact, not intention. Recognizing how actions affected someone else brings validation. That validation supports emotional healing and closure. Choosing to apologize reflects strength, not weakness. It demonstrates maturity and emotional awareness. It shows the ability to grow beyond ego. This choice protects future relationships from repeating the same patterns of harm. Sometimes distance grows because people expect the other person to make the first move. Both sides wait. Both remain silent. Over time, waiting becomes habit. Habit becomes separation. Healing begins when someone breaks the silence intentionally. Initiating reconciliation does not mean accepting all blame. It means valuing peace over pride. It opens communication where tension once lived. Even a brief message can shift emotional direction. Apologies also clarify misunderstandings that linger for years. Many conflicts began from assumptions rather than facts. Honest conversation can dissolve those assumptions and reduce long-held resentment. Life moves forward regardless of unresolved emotions. Acting now prevents regret later. Healing broken hearts requires courage, timing, and sincerity. The decision to apologize today shapes emotional freedom tomorrow. Some people realize the need to apologize only after seeing the consequences of their silence. A relationship that once felt strong now feels fragile. Trust has eroded. Moments that could have been joyful feel heavy with regret. Recognizing this shift sparks the courage to reach out, even when the timing feels late. Many broken hearts were caused by neglect rather than deliberate hurt. A forgotten promise, a missed call, a casual remark that went unaddressed. Over time, these small actions accumulate. They quietly create distance. A heartfelt apology can undo years of unintended pain and communicate that the other person still matters deeply. Apologizing requires more than words. It requires awareness. Understanding how one's behavior affected another is the first step toward repair. It is not about convincing the other person, but about showing genuine recognition of their feelings. This act alone can soften emotional walls that built up over time. Time continues to pass, and missed opportunities grow heavier with each day. Acting now avoids permanent regret. Even if reconciliation is not immediate, the attempt itself signals emotional maturity. Healing begins when the first honest words are spoken before it's too late. Sometimes the realization comes unexpectedly. A casual conversation, a family gathering, or even a quiet reflection can reveal that unresolved pain lingers in someone's heart. What was once dismissed as minor now feels significant. Awareness grows, urging action before it is too late. Neglect often hides behind excuses. Work, distance, misunderstandings, they all seem valid in the moment. But accumulated neglect leaves a lasting impression. The absence of care, even unintentional, weighs heavily. A sincere apology can lighten that burden and communicate that they are valued despite past oversights. Apologizing also reshapes personal perspective. It fosters empathy, humility, and self-reflection. Facing one's mistakes clarifies priorities and strengthens future behavior. It encourages the development of deeper emotional intelligence that benefits all relationships. Acting too late risks losing connection permanently. People move forward, circumstances change, and doors close quietly. Choosing to address unresolved pain now creates an opportunity for closure, healing, and emotional clarity for both parties. Regret often grows quietly, unnoticed until it becomes unbearable. It hides behind daily routines, appearing only when something triggers memory of what went unsaid. Recognizing this moment is crucial. Waiting longer increases emotional weight and internal conflict. Some broken hearts result not from anger, but from repeated small slights. Forgotten birthdays, unanswered texts, unkept promises, these may seem minor, but their impact accumulates. An apology, even for small things, signals awareness and care, validating experiences that were previously overlooked. Healing requires humility. Admitting mistakes without defensiveness softens tension. It is an act of courage rather than weakness. This effort communicates sincerity and the desire to restore emotional balance without expecting immediate forgiveness. Taking responsibility now safeguards both hearts. Regret can fade when honesty replaces avoidance. Even if reconciliation does not happen instantly, acknowledging past mistakes sets the foundation for future peace. Choosing to act before it's too late is a powerful step toward emotional freedom. Some people realize the urgency of saying sorry when they notice others have changed. The bond that once felt unbreakable now feels fragile. Friends drift, family members grow distant, and opportunities to reconnect shrink. Recognizing this shift sparks a desire to act before it's too late, reminding us that words left unsaid can carry long-term weight. Many broken hearts are the result of small misunderstandings that never got addressed, a comment misinterpreted, a thoughtless action overlooked. While it may have seemed trivial at the moment, the impact lingered quietly. A heartfelt apology doesn't erase the past, but it communicates awareness and care, validating feelings that have been buried. Taking responsibility requires courage. It's not about defending yourself or making excuses. It's about acknowledging the consequences of actions and giving the other person recognition for the hurt they experienced. This recognition can soften emotional walls and open the path for genuine communication. Waiting too long allows regret to take root. People change. Situations evolve. Missed opportunities cannot always be recovered. Choosing to apologize today can prevent permanent loss, create emotional clarity, and bring peace to hearts that have been quietly carrying pain for too long. Sometimes the realization hits during the quiet moments of life, a solitary walk, a reflective evening, or a sudden memory can reveal unresolved tension. What seemed small at the time now feels significant. This inner awareness acts as a nudge, reminding us to address the pain before it grows unmanageable. Neglect often disguises itself as busyness. Work, obligations, or distance can make people believe they are doing enough, but small repeated oversights accumulate. Birthdays forgotten, promises postponed, words left unsaid. They create distance without notice. A sincere apology can bridge this gap, showing care and understanding. The act of apologizing teaches self-awareness and empathy. It reshapes perspective and fosters emotional growth. By confronting mistakes with humility, a person learns to handle future relationships with more consideration and emotional intelligence, creating stronger bonds moving forward. Delaying apology risks losing the connection forever. Life moves forward, whether we act or not. Relationships can dissolve quietly if pain goes unacknowledged. Acting now brings closure, restores dignity, and opens the door for emotional healing that benefits both hearts. Sometimes the weight of regret becomes clear when a relationship feels permanently altered. A casual argument, a misunderstanding, or repeated neglect may have left marks that are not easily forgotten. The longer silence continues, the heavier the emotional burden becomes. Acting with sincerity can lighten this weight. Many broken hearts exist because small issues went unresolved. A forgotten message, a careless remark, or being emotionally unavailable leaves impressions that grow over time. A genuine apology validates these experiences, showing that they were seen and acknowledged, which can bring relief even without immediate reconciliation. Facing the need to apologize requires honesty and humility. It involves recognizing mistakes and addressing them without defensiveness or blame. The focus shifts from past failures to current action, which allows emotional healing to begin in a meaningful way. Taking responsibility now prevents permanent regret. Life moves quickly, and opportunities for restoration do not wait. Choosing to apologize creates a foundation for emotional clarity, reduces lingering resentment, and allows both people to move forward with greater peace and understanding. Sometimes people avoid apologizing because they fear reopening old wounds. They think time has erased the hurt, but unresolved pain rarely disappears on its own. It lingers quietly, affecting how people connect and trust. Recognizing this hidden burden is the first step toward action, reminding us that timely apologies can prevent deeper emotional scars. Many broken hearts are the result of overlooked moments. A kind gesture forgotten, a question left unanswered, or a promise postponed may seem minor at first, Yet these small actions accumulate over time and leave lasting impressions. A sincere apology acknowledges both the action and its impact, validating feelings that have been silently carried for too long. Offering a genuine apology requires humility. It involves confronting discomfort, letting go of pride, and acknowledging responsibility without deflecting blame. Even if the other person does not immediately respond, this act communicates respect, care, and awareness. It creates the emotional space needed for healing to begin. Delaying reconciliation risks permanent loss. People move forward, circumstances change, and the window for repair narrows. Acting now prevents regret from taking hold. Apologizing before it's too late can transform tension into understanding and restore emotional balance for both parties. Some realizations come suddenly, sparked by reflection or unexpected memories. A face appears in thought, a memory resurfaces, and the weight of unspoken words becomes clear. These moments reveal that something important has been left unresolved, urging action before opportunities for repair vanish. Neglect often hides behind busyness or distraction. Life's responsibilities, routines, and pressures can make people believe they are managing relationships effectively, when small, repeated oversights quietly create distance. Apologizing demonstrates awareness, restores connection, and shows that the other person's feelings truly matter. Apologies foster personal growth as well as relational healing. They cultivate empathy, emotional awareness, and maturity. Admitting mistakes without defensiveness encourages better decision-making in future interactions and strengthens one's ability to nurture meaningful connections. Waiting too long can allow resentment and misunderstanding to harden. The longer distance remains, the harder it becomes to bridge. Acting today with sincerity and courage prevents unnecessary loss, brings closure, and opens the path to emotional peace for both hearts. Many people underestimate the power of a single honest apology. They assume time will erase hurt or that the other person has already moved on. In truth, silence can deepen emotional pain. Taking the first step toward reconciliation often provides relief to both sides, even if trust must be rebuilt gradually. Broken hearts often stem from repeated small offenses rather than major betrayals. Missed commitments, careless words, or emotional unavailability quietly damage trust. A thoughtful apology acknowledges these moments, validates experiences, and communicates that the pain caused is recognized. Apologizing requires facing discomfort and uncertainty. It involves humility and the willingness to accept responsibility. It is not about demanding forgiveness, but about taking proactive steps to mend emotional wounds and show growth. Time is fragile in matters of the heart. Delays may result in permanent distance or lost opportunities. Acting with honesty and sincerity now ensures emotional wounds do not fester, offering both clarity and the possibility of restored connection before it's too late. Some people realize they need to apologize when they notice patterns repeating in their relationships. Old arguments resurface, trust feels fragile, and emotional distance grows. These patterns signal unresolved pain. Addressing them promptly with honesty can prevent the situation from becoming permanent and shows that relationships are valued more than pride. Broken hearts often arise from small, repeated oversights rather than dramatic events. A text left unanswered, a forgotten promise, or inattentive behavior may seem insignificant at first, but over time it leaves lasting impressions. A sincere apology acknowledges the impact of these actions, showing empathy and respect for the other person's feelings. The act of apologizing strengthens personal growth. It encourages self-awareness, emotional maturity, and the ability to understand the perspective of others. Facing mistakes without defensiveness reshapes communication patterns, fostering healthier relationships in the future. Delaying reconciliation can create regret that lingers indefinitely. Time changes people and circumstances, and opportunities to repair damaged trust may disappear. Acting now with humility and sincerity brings clarity, eases tension, and allows emotional healing to begin before it's too late. Sometimes the need to apologize becomes clear through reflection on past behavior. Quiet moments reveal where actions or lack of them hurt someone unintentionally. Realizing these patterns early allows for timely action, demonstrating care and emotional responsibility before resentment takes hold. Many broken hearts are the result of small misunderstandings or neglect. A missed birthday, an overlooked message, or moments of inattentiveness can silently accumulate over time. Apologizing validates the other person's experiences, restores emotional balance, and opens the door for reconnection. Apologies also serve the one giving them. They teach humility, foster empathy, and encourage personal accountability. Acknowledging mistakes strengthens emotional intelligence, allowing one to navigate future relationships with awareness and sensitivity. Waiting too long often results in lost opportunities. Emotional distance can solidify into permanent separation. Acting with honesty and courage ensures that regret does not dominate the heart and allows both individuals to experience closure and peace. People often hesitate to apologize because they fear it will not change the outcome. They worry the other person may reject their words or hold on to resentment. In reality, a heartfelt apology rarely harms the relationship. Instead, it creates space for understanding and emotional release. Many broken hearts exist due to silence rather than conflict. Unspoken emotions and unresolved misunderstandings can fester over time. Apologizing signals awareness and care, validating experiences that may have been ignored, and begins the process of emotional restoration. Apologizing requires honesty and humility. It involves acknowledging mistakes without excuses and expressing genuine concern for the impact of one's actions. This approach fosters trust, even if forgiveness is not immediate, and shows a willingness to change moving forward. Time is fleeting, and delaying action often magnifies regret. Relationships can drift irreversibly if hurt remains unaddressed. Choosing to act with sincerity ensures emotional wounds are attended to, allowing both parties to find peace, clarity, and the possibility of renewed connection. Sometimes the hardest apologies are the ones we owe to family members. A harsh word during a tense moment or years of neglect can leave a lasting impact, even if intentions were never malicious. The effects remain. Recognizing the need to reach out and express regret can prevent these small fissures from turning into permanent divides. Broken hearts often form silently. They do not always come from grand betrayals, but from the accumulation of small actions, forgetting to listen, failing to celebrate achievements, or simply not being present in meaningful moments. A sincere apology acknowledges these oversights, showing that the other person's feelings were important and valid. Apologizing requires courage and humility. It means confronting your own mistakes without making excuses. It allows for emotional honesty. And even if the relationship does not fully return to what it once was, it sets the foundation for trust and understanding moving forward. Delaying reconciliation can have irreversible consequences. Time does not pause, and missed opportunities grow heavier with each passing day. Acting now with sincerity restores dignity, eases tension, and gives both hearts the chance to heal before the moment slips away completely. Some people avoid apologizing because they assume the damage is too great to repair. They fear rejection or that words will fall flat. Yet the act of acknowledging mistakes can soften the hardest emotions and communicate respect and awareness. Even a small step taken with honesty can have a profound impact. Broken hearts are often caused by repeated neglect rather than intentional harm. Ignored messages, absent conversations, or unacknowledged needs quietly create distance. Offering a heartfelt apology validates these experiences and shows a commitment to change, opening the door for emotional restoration. Apologies also transform the person offering them. They foster empathy, strengthen emotional maturity, and encourage reflection on past behavior. By admitting faults, a person develops self-awareness that improves communication and nurtures healthier relationships in the future. Procrastination in reconciliation can solidify distance. Opportunities to repair connections may vanish quietly if action is delayed. Acting with humility today brings clarity, eases lingering tension, and initiates the process of healing before regrets become permanent. Sometimes life provides moments of clarity that highlight unresolved pain. A conversation overheard, a memory revisited, or a quiet pause can reveal what has been left unsaid. These moments urge action and remind us that timely apologies can prevent years of lingering emotional weight. Many broken hearts result from patterns of neglect or misunderstanding. Small behaviors, being emotionally distant, not listening, or failing to follow through on promises, can accumulate unnoticed. A sincere apology addresses these behaviors, acknowledges their impact, and fosters an environment where trust can begin to rebuild. Apologizing is not about proving correctness. It is about showing awareness and care. Humility in this act demonstrates personal growth and a desire to restore balance, regardless of how the other person responds. The process itself initiates healing and reconciliation. Time waits for no one, and unresolved pain can grow heavier with each day. Delaying apologies increases regret and makes future restoration more difficult. Acting now with courage and sincerity opens the way for emotional clarity, relief, and renewed connection between hearts. Sometimes the need to apologize emerges from seeing the subtle ways we hurt those closest to us. A comment made in frustration, a moment of inattentiveness, or ignoring someone's need can leave a mark long after the incident. Realizing this hidden impact encourages timely action before emotional distance becomes permanent. Many broken hearts are the result of patterns rather than isolated mistakes. Forgetting to check in, failing to acknowledge feelings, or prioritizing other responsibilities over the relationship quietly erodes trust. A thoughtful apology recognizes these lapses and reassures the other person that their emotions are understood and valued. Taking responsibility requires courage and self-reflection. It is about facing one's own mistakes honestly, without making excuses. This act of humility can reduce tension, create space for understanding, and demonstrate growth, even if forgiveness takes time. Delaying reconciliation allows regret to grow. Time does not reverse the damage caused by silence or neglect. Acting now with sincerity provides clarity, releases emotional weight, and begins the process of rebuilding trust and connection before it is too late. Sometimes people only understand the importance of an apology after seeing the long-term consequences of their silence. A friendship grows distant, family bonds weaken, or a loved one withdraws. The realization that one's actions or inactions contributed to this distance can spark the courage needed to reach out with honesty and care. Many broken hearts result from neglect, not malice. Small repeated behaviors, missed calls, overlooked feelings, or unintentional insensitivity quietly cause harm. A sincere apology addresses these moments, validates experiences, and conveys that the other person is seen and valued. Apologizing requires vulnerability. It involves admitting that mistakes were made without attempting to justify them. This honesty builds emotional credibility, shows growth, and encourages both parties to engage in the difficult work of repair. Procrastination in reconciliation can solidify distance. Emotional walls grow higher over time, making connection more challenging. Choosing to apologize today can prevent long-term regret, restore clarity, and provide a foundation for emotional healing and renewed understanding. Sometimes the urgency to apologize arises when a relationship feels fragile. Patterns of miscommunication, repeated misunderstandings, or past neglect accumulate quietly. When awareness strikes, it becomes clear that action is necessary to prevent permanent distance and emotional loss. Many broken hearts are shaped by unintentional behavior rather than deliberate harm. Ignored messages, unmet expectations, and emotional absence leave lasting impressions. A genuine apology acknowledges these moments and reassures the other person that their feelings are recognized, laying the groundwork for healing. Saying sorry requires honesty and courage. It is not about demanding forgiveness, but about taking responsibility for one's actions. Humility in this process fosters emotional maturity, opens dialogue, and encourages the other person to see the effort behind the words. Delaying apology increases the weight of regret. Life moves forward. Relationships shift, and opportunities for reconciliation may vanish. Acting now with sincerity and awareness restores emotional clarity, relieves tension, and allows both hearts to begin the journey toward healing. Sometimes the need to apologize becomes clear when one notices how much emotional distance has grown. Conversations feel strained. Laughter feels forced. Small tensions become noticeable, and the relationship's warmth fades. Recognizing this pattern is the first step toward repair, reminding us that taking responsibility early can prevent lasting regret. Many broken hearts stem from unintentional neglect rather than harsh words. Failing to listen, overlooking feelings, or being absent during critical moments quietly causes harm. A sincere apology acknowledges these actions and reassures the other person that their emotions are valued and understood. Apologizing requires humility and courage. It means confronting discomfort, admitting mistakes without deflection, and showing genuine concern for the impact of one's actions. Even if forgiveness is not immediate, the effort signals respect and emotional responsibility. Delaying reconciliation allows regret to grow silently. Opportunities to restore trust diminish over time. Acting today with honesty and sincerity brings clarity, eases tension, and begins the process of emotional healing before the relationship suffers further. Some people realize they need to apologize only after reflection reveals patterns of unintended harm. Repeated oversights, missed moments, and emotional unavailability accumulate quietly, leaving marks on those we care about. Awareness of this impact sparks the courage to act before it becomes too late. Broken hearts often result from small actions that seemed insignificant at the time. Ignored messages, missed commitments, or failing to acknowledge emotional needs can slowly erode trust. A thoughtful apology recognizes these moments and communicates that the other person's feelings matter deeply. Offering a sincere apology is an act of self-awareness and growth. It shows a willingness to confront personal shortcomings, fosters emotional maturity, and strengthens the capacity for meaningful connections. The process itself initiates healing and sets the foundation for healthier future interactions. Waiting too long increases the risk of permanent distance. Life continues. Circumstances change and people move forward. Acting now with humility and honesty restores clarity, provides emotional relief, and opens the door to renewed understanding between hearts. Sometimes emotional tension surfaces unexpectedly, highlighting the need for reconciliation. A conversation that becomes tense, a sudden memory, or a quiet reflection can reveal unresolved pain. These moments encourage action, showing that apologies are not only necessary, but urgent. Many broken hearts are created by patterns of carelessness rather than deliberate harm. Overlooked feelings, forgotten commitments, or inattentive behavior can quietly accumulate over months or years. A heartfelt apology acknowledges these patterns, validates experiences, and shows commitment to repair the emotional damage. Apologizing requires facing discomfort and letting go of pride. It is an act of courage, not weakness, and demonstrates emotional maturity. This willingness to accept responsibility helps rebuild trust and fosters an environment where communication can flourish again. Delaying apology increases the emotional burden for both parties. Time passes quickly, and opportunities for repair may disappear. Acting now ensures emotional clarity, reduces lingering tension, and initiates the healing process before regrets become permanent. Sometimes the urgency to apologize comes from noticing the subtle ways relationships have shifted. Laughter no longer flows easily, and conversations feel heavier than before. Emotional distance can grow quietly until it becomes almost invisible. Recognizing this shift signals that action is needed to prevent deeper pain and to restore connection. Many broken hearts are shaped by neglect more than deliberate hurt, forgetting to check in, missing important moments, or failing to acknowledge feelings may seem minor, but their cumulative effect can be significant. A heartfelt apology validates the other person's emotions and communicates that their experience was important and recognized. Taking responsibility involves courage and self-reflection. It means acknowledging mistakes without excuses and expressing genuine concern for the consequences of one's actions. Even if reconciliation takes time, this act shows growth, empathy, and emotional maturity. Waiting too long allows small regrets to grow into lasting emotional distance. Life moves forward, people change, and opportunities for repair may vanish quietly. Acting now with honesty and humility brings clarity, eases tension, and begins the process of emotional healing before it is too late. Sometimes people realize the need to apologize after noticing a change in the other person's behavior. A friend seems withdrawn, a family member distant, or a loved one quieter than usual. These subtle shifts often signal unresolved pain. Recognizing them early encourages taking responsibility and reaching out before the connection deteriorates further. Broken hearts often result from repeated small slights rather than major offenses. Ignored messages, broken promises, or moments of emotional unavailability quietly accumulate, leaving lasting marks. A sincere apology addresses these small actions, acknowledges their impact, and communicates care and understanding. Apologizing requires honesty and humility. It is about facing discomfort, acknowledging personal faults, and demonstrating a willingness to grow. This act builds trust, even if forgiveness is delayed, and sets the stage for healthier emotional interactions in the future. Delaying reconciliation allows resentment and misunderstanding to solidify. Time passes, circumstances shift, and opportunities to repair relationships may be lost. Acting with sincerity today ensures emotional clarity, brings relief to both hearts, and begins the journey toward restoration and peace. Sometimes, the need to apologize becomes clear during moments of introspection. A quiet evening, a reflective walk, or a sudden memory can reveal unresolved emotional pain. Recognizing these moments is crucial, as they provide the opportunity to address issues before they grow heavier and more difficult to repair. Many broken hearts are created not by malice, but by inattention. Forgetting meaningful dates, failing to listen, or overlooking someone's emotional needs leaves lasting impressions. A heartfelt apology validates these experiences, shows awareness, and communicates that the other person's feelings are valued. Apologizing also encourages personal growth. It cultivates empathy, humility, and self-awareness, strengthening emotional intelligence and improving future interactions. Accepting responsibility demonstrates maturity and willingness to change, fostering healthier and more meaningful relationships. Waiting too long to apologize can result in permanent distance. People move forward, situations change, and unresolved pain may harden. Acting now with courage and sincerity restores emotional balance, reduces lingering regret, and opens the door for genuine healing between hearts. Sometimes the weight of regret becomes noticeable when we observe subtle changes in others' behavior. A friend's enthusiasm fades, a loved one withdraws emotionally, or familiar warmth is replaced by quiet tension. These signs indicate unresolved emotions that need attention. Addressing them with honesty can prevent permanent rifts and rebuild lost trust. Many broken hearts stem from a series of overlooked interactions rather than dramatic conflicts. A forgotten gesture, failing to celebrate an achievement, or ignoring small emotional cues can quietly hurt someone. A sincere apology acknowledges these actions, highlights awareness, and reassures the other person that their feelings matter. The process of apologizing encourages reflection and maturity. It requires admitting mistakes without justification, listening without defense, and approaching the situation with empathy. Even if reconciliation is gradual, the act of taking responsibility fosters understanding and emotional repair. Delaying this step can have lasting consequences. Distance can solidify. Opportunities to reconnect may disappear, and regret may linger silently. Acting today with courage and clarity provides relief, restores respect, and initiates the process of healing for both sides. Sometimes people recognize the need to apologize after noticing patterns that repeat over time. Arguments resurface, frustrations linger, and old grievances quietly resurface. These patterns reveal emotional neglect or unintended harm. Confronting them promptly prevents future tension from becoming permanent. Many broken hearts form from small cumulative actions rather than obvious mistakes. Forgetting important dates, neglecting to ask about someone's feelings, or remaining emotionally absent during critical moments leaves silent scars. Offering a genuine apology validates those experiences and rebuilds the emotional connection. Apologizing requires vulnerability and self-awareness. It involves admitting responsibility without attempting to excuse past behavior. This openness fosters understanding, encourages healing, and strengthens emotional intelligence for healthier future interactions. Procrastination can make repair more difficult. Time changes people and situations, and unresolved issues can grow harder to mend. Acting sincerely and promptly ensures emotional clarity, reduces lingering stress, and allows both parties to begin rebuilding trust. Sometimes the realization to apologize comes suddenly, sparked by reflection or an unexpected moment. Seeing someone in need, recalling a past event, or noticing emotional distance can illuminate unresolved pain. This awareness urges action before relationships drift further apart. Broken hearts often result from neglect rather than intention, or lack of presence during challenging times, failure to communicate openly, or forgetting meaningful gestures slowly erodes trust. A thoughtful apology addresses these moments, demonstrates accountability, and communicates that the person's feelings are acknowledged. Offering an apology nurtures personal growth and emotional resilience. It strengthens empathy, encourages honesty, and cultivates understanding. Taking responsibility also fosters confidence in handling future conflicts more effectively and building stronger connections. Delaying reconciliation allows resentment and misunderstanding to grow quietly. People move forward, circumstances shift, and opportunities for healing may vanish. Acting with sincerity now restores emotional clarity, begins the path to resolution, and prevents permanent distance between hearts. Sometimes a small misunderstanding lingers longer than expected. A casual disagreement, an overlooked emotion, or missed words can quietly fester over time. Recognizing this is the first step toward repair, showing awareness before distance grows permanent. Broken hearts often form not from dramatic events, but from repeated neglect. Forgetting commitments, failing to notice emotional cues, or being unavailable during crucial moments creates silent pain. A thoughtful apology validates the other person's feelings and acknowledges the unseen hurt. Apologizing requires emotional honesty. It's about owning one's role in the problem without excuses, listening actively, and showing empathy. This openness fosters trust and paves the way for meaningful restoration. Delaying reconciliation increases emotional tension. Relationships may drift, opportunities may be lost, and regret may take root. Acting now with sincerity offers clarity, restores balance, and starts the healing process. Sometimes the realization comes after a long period of reflection. Seeing the emotional distance in someone you care about can trigger the understanding that past behavior caused unseen hurt. Acting on this realization can prevent further regret. Many broken hearts are a result of neglect rather than malice. Missing important milestones, being emotionally unavailable, or overlooking small gestures quietly erodes trust. A sincere apology communicates recognition of these oversights and conveys that the other person's feelings matter. Apologizing strengthens personal growth. It encourages humility, emotional awareness, and accountability. Facing mistakes demonstrates a willingness to learn and improves how one handles future relationships. Waiting too long risks permanent separation. Time moves quickly, and opportunities to repair trust may vanish. Acting with honesty and courage ensures emotional clarity, reduces tension, and fosters genuine reconciliation. Sometimes a conversation triggers memories of past mistakes. A recalled comment, a misunderstanding, or a moment of carelessness can highlight unresolved issues. This awareness signals the need for a timely apology before resentment grows. Broken hearts often emerge from repeated minor offenses. Forgetting to listen, postponing attention, or ignoring emotional needs accumulates quietly. Offering a heartfelt apology validates the other person's experiences and communicates accountability. Apologizing requires vulnerability. Admitting faults without defensiveness shows respect and builds credibility. Even if forgiveness is gradual, the act begins the journey toward understanding and emotional repair. Delaying action may allow resentment to grow deeper. Life continues, and missed opportunities can become permanent. Acting now restores peace, clarity, and the potential for renewed connection. Sometimes the need to apologize becomes evident when the relationship feels stiff or unnatural. Conversations may feel forced, laughter may fade, and trust may seem weakened. Recognizing this early encourages addressing unresolved issues before they escalate. Many broken hearts form due to neglect rather than intention. Ignored feelings, forgotten words, or emotional absence quietly damage bonds. A sincere apology acknowledges these lapses and reassures the other person that they are seen and valued. Taking responsibility requires courage. It involves admitting mistakes without excuses, showing empathy, and committing to improved behavior. This effort fosters trust and initiates the process of emotional restoration. Waiting too long can solidify distance. Life moves on, and the chance for repair may fade. Acting now ensures clarity, reduces tension, and begins the path to healing for both parties. Sometimes the first sign that an apology is needed is emotional unrest, persistent guilt, recurring memories, or unease around someone you care about indicates unresolved issues. Acting on this awareness can prevent further emotional strain. Many broken hearts result from repeated patterns of neglect. Missed calls, forgotten commitments, or small dismissive behaviors slowly accumulate, leaving lasting impressions. Apologizing validates these experiences and reassures the person that their feelings matter. Apologizing fosters personal growth. It encourages reflection, empathy, and accountability. Taking responsibility strengthens future interactions and helps cultivate healthier relationships. Procrastination increases regret. Emotional distance can solidify, and opportunities to reconnect may diminish. Acting sincerely now restores clarity, eases tension, and begins the journey of reconciliation. Sometimes the need to apologize becomes urgent after noticing avoidance or withdrawal from the other person. Silence, emotional coldness, or decreased communication are signals that past actions may have caused unseen harm. Recognizing these cues is the first step toward restoration. Many broken hearts are shaped by subtle neglect rather than intentional harm. Overlooked gestures, unattended conversations, or failing to celebrate achievements quietly accumulate emotional pain. A sincere apology validates these experiences and demonstrates care. Apologizing requires humility and honesty. It involves admitting mistakes without defensiveness and approaching the situation with empathy. This act fosters trust and initiates the healing process. Delaying action allows emotional distance to grow. Time moves quickly, and unresolved issues can become permanent. Acting promptly restores clarity, relieves tension, and provides an opportunity for reconciliation. Sometimes reflection reveals how words or actions unintentionally hurt someone. A casual remark or unintentional neglect may leave deeper scars than imagined. Recognizing this is essential before emotional wounds deepen. Broken hearts often develop from small, overlooked interactions. A missed message Unacknowledged effort or lack of attention may seem insignificant, but over time it erodes trust. Apologizing validates feelings and demonstrates awareness of the impact. Offering an apology nurtures emotional growth. It encourages self-awareness, empathy, and accountability. It demonstrates maturity and improves how one handles future conflicts or misunderstandings. Waiting too long can make repair more difficult. Distance may become permanent, and resentment may grow. Acting with sincerity now ensures clarity, releases emotional tension, and begins the path to healing. Sometimes the motivation to apologize comes from witnessing the emotional strain in the other person. Subtle changes in tone, behavior, or energy may indicate lingering pain. Acting before it intensifies shows care and consideration. Many broken hearts stem from repeated minor oversights, forgetting important details, being unavailable emotionally, or failing to acknowledge feelings accumulates quietly. A heartfelt apology acknowledges these patterns and reassures the person they are valued. Apologizing encourages humility and personal development. Owning mistakes without excuses fosters trust, demonstrates growth, and sets the foundation for better communication in future interactions. Delaying reconciliation can allow distance to become permanent. Time shifts circumstances, and missed opportunities may be lost. Acting now restores clarity, reduces lingering tension, and opens the door to emotional repair. Sometimes regret surfaces unexpectedly. A quiet evening, a memory, or a moment of reflection may reveal unresolved tension with someone important. Awareness prompts the courage to address these issues before they worsen. Broken hearts are often the result of neglect rather than malice. Overlooked needs, unacknowledged feelings, or postponed communication quietly harm relationships. A sincere apology validates these experiences and conveys accountability. Apologizing strengthens personal growth. It promotes empathy, humility, and emotional intelligence. Facing mistakes openly helps rebuild trust and encourages healthier connections moving forward. Procrastination can deepen emotional distance. Life continues, people change, and chances to repair relationships may fade. Acting with honesty now ensures peace, clarity, and the possibility of restored connection. Sometimes the need to apologize becomes evident after noticing subtle friction in interactions. Conversations may feel tense, gestures may seem strained, and warmth may diminish. Recognizing these signs allows timely action before emotional damage escalates. Many broken hearts arise from repeated small offenses. Missing important moments, failing to listen attentively, or being unavailable emotionally quietly erodes trust. A thoughtful apology acknowledges these patterns and restores acknowledgement to the other person's feelings. Apologizing requires courage and humility. Admitting mistakes without excuses demonstrates maturity and care, even if forgiveness is gradual. The act sets the stage for trust and emotional repair. Waiting too long risks permanent distance. Emotional barriers may harden, and chances to reconnect may be lost. Acting now with sincerity ensures clarity, reduces tension, and initiates healing. Sometimes awareness comes suddenly. A memory, a reflection, or noticing a loved one's subtle withdrawal can reveal past mistakes. This clarity signals the need for a timely apology before regrets deepen. Many broken hearts are caused by neglect rather than intent. Unanswered messages, overlooked needs, or lack of attention during important moments accumulate silently. A sincere apology validates emotions and communicates recognition of the impact. Apologizing nurtures personal growth. It encourages empathy, accountability, and self-reflection. Owning mistakes fosters stronger relationships and teaches better ways to communicate in the future. Delaying action risks permanent damage. Relationships shift, people change, and opportunities may vanish. Acting with sincerity today restores clarity, alleviates tension, and begins the process of emotional restoration. Sometimes the need to apologize arises from observing subtle emotional changes in someone we care about. Withdrawal, quiet, frustration, or distant behavior can indicate unresolved hurt. Addressing it promptly prevents escalation and demonstrates care. Many broken hearts are shaped by small, repeated oversights. Missed opportunities, neglected conversations, or moments of inattentiveness quietly erode emotional bonds. A genuine apology acknowledges these issues and reassures the other person that their feelings matter. Apologizing strengthens emotional intelligence. It requires honesty, humility, and active acknowledgement of impact. This process helps rebuild trust and fosters meaningful connections for the future. Procrastinating increases emotional weight. Time moves on, situations change, and unresolved issues can become permanent. Acting today brings relief, restores clarity, and allows the healing process to begin. Sometimes reflection highlights past behavior that unintentionally hurt someone. A careless remark, overlooked responsibility, or emotional unavailability may leave silent scars. Recognizing these moments prompts timely action to prevent further damage. Broken hearts often result from small neglects rather than obvious conflicts. Ignored messages, postponed commitments, or inattention quietly accumulate over time. A sincere apology acknowledges these actions and conveys that the other person's feelings are recognized. Apologizing fosters personal growth. It cultivates empathy, self-awareness, and accountability. Taking responsibility demonstrates maturity and encourages healthier emotional responses in the future. Delaying reconciliation allows emotional distance to solidify. People change, circumstances shift, and opportunities may disappear. Acting now restores clarity, eases tension, and begins the journey toward renewed connection and peace. Sometimes the need to apologize becomes obvious after noticing subtle changes in someone's mood. A sudden quietness, withdrawn behavior, or hesitation to engage can indicate lingering hurt. Recognizing these signs encourages timely action to prevent further emotional distance. Many broken hearts form from repeated small oversights rather than outright conflict. Missing messages, forgetting small commitments, or neglecting attention quietly accumulates hurt. A heartfelt apology acknowledges the impact and reassures the other person that their feelings are valued. Apologizing requires courage and self-reflection. It involves owning one's actions without excuses, listening actively, and demonstrating empathy. This process fosters trust and initiates emotional repair. Delaying an apology can deepen regret. Relationships may drift. Emotional walls can solidify, and opportunities for reconciliation may vanish. Acting sincerely today brings clarity, relief, and begins the journey toward healing. Sometimes reflection reveals unresolved tension that was overlooked. A past conversation or forgotten incident may resurface in memory, highlighting emotional pain that was never addressed. Acting on this insight can prevent further strain. Broken hearts often result from subtle neglect rather than major mistakes. A lack of presence, ignored feelings, or missed opportunities accumulate quietly, leaving silent scars. A thoughtful apology acknowledges these moments and validates the other person's emotions. Apologizing strengthens personal growth. It encourages humility, accountability, and self-awareness. By accepting responsibility, we model emotional maturity and create space for healthier future interactions. Waiting too long risks permanent distance. Time moves quickly, situations change, and unresolved pain can harden. Acting with honesty restores clarity, reduces tension, and opens the door to renewed connection. Sometimes people realize they need to apologize when communication begins to feel strained. Conversations become short, responses delayed, or emotional warmth diminishes. These are subtle signals that unresolved issues may exist and need attention. Many broken hearts form from repeated minor oversights. Forgetting small promises, Missing emotional cues or being unavailable during meaningful moments quietly erodes trust. Offering a genuine apology acknowledges these actions and reassures the person that their feelings matter. Apologizing requires vulnerability and courage. It means facing discomfort, acknowledging mistakes, and expressing sincerity. Even if forgiveness takes time, the act itself initiates emotional healing. Procrastinating increases the risk of permanent emotional distance. Opportunities for repair may vanish and regret may take root. Acting now ensures clarity, eases tension, and allows healing to begin. Sometimes the need to apologize becomes evident after witnessing emotional distance in someone you care about. Subtle withdrawal, decreased enthusiasm, or hesitation in conversation can indicate past actions caused pain. Recognizing this early allows for timely repair. Many broken hearts are created by ongoing small neglect rather than obvious disputes. Overlooked gestures, unattended conversations, or emotional absence quietly erode connection. A sincere apology acknowledges these lapses and communicates care. Offering an apology nurtures growth. It encourages reflection, empathy, and accountability. Admitting faults demonstrates emotional maturity and fosters healthier interactions in the future. Delaying action allows resentment to grow, distance may become permanent, and opportunities for reconciliation may disappear. Acting with humility now restores clarity, reduces tension, and begins emotional repair. Sometimes the first sign that an apology is needed is a quiet reflection on past behavior. Remembering overlooked moments, forgotten promises, or unacknowledged emotions can highlight unresolved pain. Acting on this awareness prevents future regret. Broken hearts often result from repeated minor actions rather than intentional harm. Ignored messages, missed celebrations, or inattentiveness quietly accumulate. A thoughtful apology validates these experiences and demonstrates accountability. Apologizing requires honesty and humility. Acknowledging mistakes without defensiveness fosters trust and allows both parties to engage in meaningful dialogue. The act itself begins the process of healing. Waiting too long risks solidifying emotional distance. Life moves forward. Circumstances change, and opportunities may vanish. Acting now restores peace, clarity, and the possibility of reconnection. Sometimes emotional tension emerges unexpectedly, signaling the need for reconciliation. A subtle withdrawal, changed behavior, or hesitation can reveal past mistakes that need addressing. Recognizing these signs encourages timely action. Many broken hearts are shaped by unintentional neglect. Failing to listen, forgetting details, or being emotionally unavailable quietly erodes trust. A sincere apology acknowledges these moments and reassures the other person that their feelings are respected. Apologizing encourages personal growth. It promotes self-reflection, empathy, and emotional intelligence. Confronting mistakes demonstrates maturity and strengthens the foundation for future interactions. Procrastination increases emotional strain. Distance may grow, and unresolved tension can become permanent. Acting sincerely today ensures clarity, eases stress, and initiates the journey toward emotional restoration. Sometimes the realization to apologize comes during reflective moments. Memories of past interactions, overlooked feelings, or unintended hurt can surface and signal unresolved issues. Acting promptly prevents emotional damage from intensifying. Broken hearts often result from repeated minor oversights. Forgetting commitments, ignoring emotional cues, or failing to communicate openly slowly erodes trust. A genuine apology addresses these patterns and communicates recognition of the impact. Apologizing requires humility and courage. It involves admitting mistakes without excuses, listening attentively, and expressing genuine care. This fosters trust and lays the groundwork for reconciliation. Delaying reconciliation risks permanent separation. Time passes, circumstances change, and unresolved issues can harden. Acting now restores clarity, reduces tension, and creates space for emotional healing. Sometimes awareness of past mistakes comes after noticing subtle changes in a relationship, less communication, emotional withdrawal, or hesitation in interaction may reveal unresolved tension. This recognition encourages timely action to restore connection. Many broken hearts develop through cumulative neglect rather than overt conflict. Ignored feelings, missed gestures, or inattentive behavior quietly erode trust. A heartfelt apology acknowledges these lapses and demonstrates consideration. Apologizing fosters personal and relational growth. It cultivates empathy, accountability, and self-awareness. Admitting mistakes strengthens emotional resilience and improves future interactions. Procrastination increases the risk of permanent emotional distance. Time moves forward and unresolved issues may never be repaired. Acting sincerely today restores clarity, alleviates tension, and initiates healing. Sometimes the need to apologize becomes clear after noticing someone's subtle withdrawal. Silence, hesitation, or diminished warmth often indicate past actions caused hurt. Recognizing these cues is the first step toward emotional repair. Many broken hearts are formed through small, repeated oversights. Forgetting commitments, ignoring emotional needs, or missing meaningful moments quietly accumulates hurt. A sincere apology acknowledges the impact and communicates that the other person's feelings matter. Apologizing requires humility and honesty. Taking responsibility without excuses demonstrates emotional maturity, fosters trust, and encourages open dialogue. The act itself initiates healing, regardless of immediate forgiveness. Waiting too long risks permanent emotional separation. Opportunities for restoration may fade, and resentment may grow. Acting now provides clarity, reduces tension, and begins the path toward reconciliation. Sometimes reflection reveals unintended harm. A careless remark, overlooked gesture, or moment of distraction can leave lasting emotional effects. Recognizing this is essential before relationships deteriorate further. Many broken hearts arise from repeated neglect rather than deliberate harm. Unanswered messages, unattended emotional needs, or small omissions quietly accumulate. A heartfelt apology validates the other person's feelings and demonstrates awareness. Apologizing fosters growth and emotional intelligence. It requires honesty, humility, and acknowledgement of the impact of one's actions. This encourages healthier communication and trust moving forward. Delaying reconciliation allows emotional barriers to harden. Life progresses and opportunities for repair may disappear. Acting sincerely today restores clarity, eases tension, and begins emotional restoration. Sometimes the realization to apologize comes after noticing a shift in energy between you and someone you care about. Subtle withdrawal, quiet frustration, or lack of engagement signals unresolved issues that need attention. Broken hearts often develop from patterns of minor neglect, forgotten commitments, unacknowledged emotions, and inattentive behavior accumulate quietly. Offering a thoughtful apology acknowledges these lapses and shows respect for the other person's feelings. Apologizing requires courage and humility. Confronting mistakes without excuses communicates empathy and responsibility, fostering trust even if forgiveness takes time. Delaying action increases the risk of permanent emotional distance. Time moves forward, circumstances change, and unresolved pain may harden. Acting promptly brings relief, clarity, and the opportunity for reconciliation. Sometimes emotional distance becomes noticeable only after prolonged reflection. Conversations may feel strained, warmth may fade, or subtle tension may appear. Recognizing these patterns signals that action is necessary to prevent further harm. Many broken hearts result from minor, repeated oversights rather than dramatic incidents. Ignored feelings, postponed conversations, and small neglect quietly erode connection. A sincere apology validates the other person's experience and demonstrates care. Apologizing nurtures emotional growth. It encourages self-awareness, empathy, and accountability. Taking responsibility strengthens relationships and improves future communication. Waiting too long risks permanent separation. Opportunities for repair may vanish, and regret may grow. Acting with honesty today restores clarity, eases tension, and initiates healing. Sometimes the need to apologize is triggered by noticing subtle behavioral changes in someone you value. Silence, emotional withdrawal, or avoidance may indicate lingering pain. Acting quickly ensures these issues don't worsen. Many broken hearts stem from unintentional neglect. Missed messages, forgotten promises, or inattentiveness accumulate over time, creating emotional scars. A heartfelt apology addresses these patterns and communicates recognition of the other person's feelings. Apologizing requires vulnerability and honesty. It fosters empathy, builds trust, and sets the stage for open communication. Even if forgiveness is gradual, the act itself begins the healing process. Delaying reconciliation increases regret. Emotional walls may strengthen, and missed opportunities may never return. Acting sincerely now restores clarity, reduces tension, and allows the process of emotional repair to begin. Sometimes the need to apologize becomes clear after noticing repeated misunderstandings. Conversations may feel awkward, and past disagreements may resurface. Recognizing this pattern signals that timely action is needed to prevent permanent emotional distance. Many broken hearts develop from small moments of neglect. Ignoring someone's concerns, forgetting important events, or failing to engage meaningfully quietly creates pain. A thoughtful apology acknowledges these actions and reassures the other person that their feelings matter. Apologizing requires humility and courage. It means admitting mistakes, expressing empathy, and showing willingness to change. This approach encourages understanding, fosters trust, and promotes healing. Delaying reconciliation can deepen regret. Relationships may drift. Missed opportunities may vanish, and emotional tension can grow. Acting now restores clarity, provides relief, and begins the journey toward renewed connection. Sometimes reflection reveals the unintended consequences of past actions. Small, careless moments or overlooked responsibilities can quietly erode trust. Recognizing this early allows for timely reconciliation and prevents further harm. Broken hearts often form due to repeated minor lapses rather than dramatic offenses. Missed promises, ignored feelings, or lack of attention quietly create emotional distance. A sincere apology validates the other person's experience and communicates care. Apologizing encourages emotional growth. It strengthens empathy, accountability, and self-awareness. Accepting responsibility demonstrates maturity and fosters healthier relationships in the future. Procrastination allows emotional distance to solidify. Opportunities to repair trust may fade, and resentment may grow. Acting sincerely today brings clarity, reduces tension, and initiates healing. Sometimes subtle signs indicate it's time to apologize. A change in tone, decreased engagement, or hesitancy in communication can reveal unresolved hurt. Observing these signals helps prevent long-term damage. Many broken hearts arise from unnoticed patterns rather than intentional harm. Failing to acknowledge needs, overlooking emotional cues, or missing important moments quietly accumulates. A heartfelt apology recognizes these patterns and demonstrates consideration. Apologizing fosters personal and relational growth. It requires humility, courage, and honest acknowledgement of past mistakes. This effort strengthens trust and encourages meaningful dialogue. Delaying action increases the risk of permanent separation. Emotional walls may harden and chances for reconciliation may disappear. Acting now restores clarity, reduces tension, and allows the healing process to begin. Sometimes the need to apologize becomes evident after witnessing subtle withdrawal. A friend or loved one may seem distant, quiet, or hesitant. Recognizing these patterns helps address unresolved pain before it grows deeper. Many broken hearts result from small, repeated oversights. Miscommitments, ignored messages, or inattentive moments quietly erode emotional bonds. A sincere apology acknowledges these moments and conveys that the other person's feelings are important. Apologizing requires vulnerability and courage. Confronting mistakes honestly, without excuses, demonstrates growth and empathy. The act itself initiates healing and opens the door for reconciliation. Waiting too long can solidify distance. Time moves on, circumstances shift, and unresolved pain can become permanent. Acting sincerely now restores clarity, eases tension, and begins emotional repair. Sometimes reflection highlights how subtle neglect may have caused pain, forgotten responsibilities, missed milestones, or a lack of attention can quietly leave emotional scars. Recognizing this allows for timely action. Many broken hearts form from repeated minor errors rather than major conflicts. Ignored concerns, missed gestures, or lack of presence can slowly erode trust. A thoughtful apology validates the other person's feelings and communicates awareness. Apologizing encourages self-reflection and emotional growth. It fosters humility, empathy, and accountability, demonstrating a commitment to change. Even if forgiveness is delayed, the act itself promotes understanding and repair. Procrastination may worsen the situation. Emotional distance may solidify, and opportunities for reconciliation may vanish. Acting with sincerity today brings clarity, relieves tension, and begins the path toward healing. Sometimes emotional strain becomes apparent when interactions feel strained. Conversations may be short, laughter may fade, and warmth may diminish. Recognizing these signs highlights the need for timely reconciliation. Many broken hearts arise from small, repeated lapses, overlooked needs, inattentive moments, or unacknowledged gestures quietly accumulate, creating emotional gaps. A heartfelt apology addresses these patterns and demonstrates awareness. Apologizing requires courage and honesty. It involves admitting mistakes without excuses, listening actively, and showing genuine empathy. This act fosters trust and begins the process of emotional repair. Delaying apology can make restoration more difficult. Distance may grow, opportunities may disappear, and regret may linger. Acting sincerely now restores clarity, eases tension, and initiates reconciliation. Sometimes subtle cues indicate unresolved hurt. Hesitation, withdrawn behavior, or silent frustration can reveal past mistakes. Observing these signals allows for timely apologies that prevent long-term emotional damage. Many broken hearts form from neglect rather than deliberate harm. Ignored concerns, unattended needs, or postponed interactions quietly erode trust. A sincere apology acknowledges these actions and communicates care. Apologizing encourages personal growth. It fosters self-awareness, humility, and empathy. Accepting responsibility demonstrates maturity and builds stronger, healthier relationships. Procrastination can deepen emotional distance. Opportunities to repair relationships may vanish, and resentment may grow. Acting sincerely today provides clarity, reduces tension, and begins the healing process. Sometimes the realization to apologize comes after noticing subtle changes in behavior. Emotional withdrawal, quiet frustration, or hesitation in communication can indicate unresolved pain. Acting promptly prevents further strain. Many broken hearts develop from minor oversights rather than major offenses. Missed conversations, ignored feelings, or lack of attention quietly erodes trust. A thoughtful apology validates these experiences and communicates accountability. Apologizing requires humility and courage. It involves admitting mistakes without excuses, listening attentively, and demonstrating care. The act itself initiates healing, even if forgiveness takes time. Waiting too long risks permanent separation. Time moves forward. Emotional distance may harden, and opportunities for reconciliation may disappear. Acting sincerely now restores clarity, eases tension, and begins repair. Sometimes reflection reveals past behavior that unintentionally hurt someone. A forgotten commitment, inattentive response, or overlooked gesture can quietly cause emotional pain. Recognizing this is key to timely reconciliation. Many broken hearts form from repeated neglect rather than intentional harm. Ignored concerns, unattended emotional needs, or small lapses quietly accumulate. A sincere apology acknowledges these moments and demonstrates care. Apologizing fosters personal growth. It encourages empathy, accountability, and self-awareness. Owning mistakes strengthens trust and improves future emotional interactions. Delaying action can deepen regret. Relationships may drift, resentment may grow, and opportunities may vanish. Acting today restores clarity, reduces tension, and initiates healing. Sometimes the need to apologize emerges after noticing strained interactions. Conversations may feel tense, engagement may drop, and warmth may fade. Recognizing this signals that emotional repair is necessary. Many broken hearts result from minor repeated oversights. Forgetting commitments, ignoring feelings, or overlooking gestures quietly erodes trust. A thoughtful apology acknowledges these actions and communicates recognition of the other person's emotions. Apologizing requires courage and humility. It involves admitting mistakes without excuses and expressing empathy. This act fosters understanding and begins the journey toward emotional restoration. Waiting too long risks permanent distance. Emotional walls may solidify and opportunities for reconciliation may disappear. Acting sincerely today restores clarity, reduces tension, and begins repair. Sometimes subtle reflection highlights unresolved tension. A memory, a quiet observation, or noticing changes in behavior can reveal emotional wounds that need attention. Acting on these insights prevents escalation. Many broken hearts form from repeated inattention rather than malicious intent. Miscues, unattended needs, or forgotten gestures quietly erode connection. A heartfelt apology acknowledges these patterns and reassures the other person. Apologizing fosters growth and emotional resilience. It encourages humility, empathy, and accountability. Owning mistakes strengthens relationships and creates space for healthy communication. Delaying reconciliation can deepen emotional strain. Distance may grow, and opportunities for repair may vanish. Acting sincerely now restores clarity, eases tension, and begins the healing process. Sometimes the need to apologize becomes clear after witnessing subtle signs of hurt. Withdrawal, hesitation, or changed behavior can indicate unresolved emotional pain. Addressing it promptly prevents deeper damage. Many broken hearts arise from minor repeated lapses rather than significant offenses. Ignored messages, unattended needs, or overlooked gestures quietly accumulate. A thoughtful apology acknowledges these issues and demonstrates care. Apologizing requires honesty and courage. It involves taking responsibility without excuses, listening actively, and showing empathy. This fosters trust and initiates emotional repair. Procrastination can make restoration harder. Relationships may drift, missed opportunities may vanish, and regret may grow. Acting sincerely now restores clarity, eases tension, and begins reconciliation. Sometimes reflection highlights past moments that caused unintended hurt, a forgotten responsibility, overlooked gesture, or lack of attention can leave lasting emotional marks. Recognizing these moments allows for timely action. Many broken hearts are shaped by small, repeated oversights. Ignored needs, postponed conversations, or inattentive behavior quietly accumulate. A heartfelt apology acknowledges these moments and communicates awareness and care. Apologizing encourages personal growth and maturity. It fosters empathy, accountability, and self-reflection. Owning mistakes strengthens trust and creates healthier patterns of communication. Delaying reconciliation allows distance to solidify. Time passes, situations change, and opportunities for repair may disappear. Acting sincerely now restores clarity, reduces tension, and begins the journey toward emotional healing. Sometimes the need to apologize becomes clear when conversations feel strained. Silence replaces casual laughter, and engagement diminishes. Recognizing this emotional shift is the first step toward preventing lasting distance. Many broken hearts are formed from repeated minor oversights rather than deliberate harm. Ignoring emotional cues, missing small opportunities to connect, or forgetting commitments quietly erodes trust. A sincere apology acknowledges these lapses and shows genuine care. Apologizing requires courage and introspection. It involves admitting mistakes without excuses, listening attentively, and expressing empathy. This step fosters trust and lays the foundation for reconciliation. Delaying reconciliation allows resentment to grow. Distance can solidify. Opportunities to repair relationships may vanish, and regret may linger. Acting sincerely now brings clarity, reduces tension, and initiates healing. Sometimes reflection uncovers past behavior that unintentionally hurts someone. A forgotten gesture, overlooked words, or inattentive moments can leave emotional scars. Recognizing this encourages timely action before damage deepens. Many broken hearts arise from small, repeated lapses rather than major conflicts. Missed conversations, ignored feelings, or inattentiveness quietly accumulate. A heartfelt apology validates these experiences and communicates awareness. Apologizing nurtures growth. It encourages humility, emotional intelligence, and self-awareness. Taking responsibility demonstrates maturity and strengthens future interactions. Waiting too long risks permanent separation. Relationships can drift apart. Resentment may grow, and opportunities for repair may vanish. Acting sincerely today restores clarity, eases tension, and begins healing. Sometimes the need to apologize is triggered by noticing subtle withdrawal, hesitation, quiet frustration, or emotional distance often signals unresolved pain. Acting on these cues prevents further emotional harm. Many broken hearts develop from ongoing minor neglect, forgotten messages, unattended needs, or overlooked gestures quietly erode trust. A sincere apology addresses these actions and demonstrates genuine care. Apologizing requires honesty and courage. It involves acknowledging mistakes without excuses, showing empathy, and committing to change. The act itself initiates trust rebuilding and emotional repair. Procrastination may deepen distance. Time passes, situations change, and opportunities for reconciliation may disappear. Acting sincerely now restores clarity, reduces tension, and begins the process of healing. Sometimes emotional strain becomes noticeable only during reflection. A quiet observation, recalled memory, or sudden realization can reveal past mistakes that need addressing. Acting promptly prevents long-term consequences. Many broken hearts form from small repeated oversights, missed opportunities, ignored feelings, or inattentive actions quietly accumulate, leaving silent scars. A heartfelt apology validates these experiences and reassures the other person. Apologizing fosters self-awareness and emotional maturity. It requires humility, empathy, and accountability. Accepting responsibility strengthens relationships and improves future communication. Delaying reconciliation increases the risk of permanent distance. Emotional walls may harden, and chances to repair trust may vanish. Acting sincerely today restores clarity, reduces tension, and begins emotional restoration. Sometimes the need to apologize emerges after noticing tension in interactions. Conversations may feel rigid, engagement may diminish, and emotional warmth may fade. These subtle signs encourage timely action to restore connection. Many broken hearts arise from repeated minor neglect. Forgetting commitments, ignoring small cues, or overlooking gestures quietly erodes trust. A sincere apology addresses these moments and demonstrates awareness of the impact. Apologizing requires courage and honesty. Owning mistakes without excuses fosters empathy, strengthens trust, and sets the stage for meaningful dialogue. Waiting too long risks permanent separation. Distance can solidify, opportunities for repair may vanish, and regret may linger. Acting promptly brings clarity, reduces tension, and begins healing. Sometimes reflection reveals moments that unintentionally hurt someone. A careless word, overlooked gesture, or inattentiveness may leave lasting emotional effects. Recognizing this allows for timely reconciliation. Many broken hearts develop through repeated small lapses rather than major mistakes. Ignored needs, postponed conversations, or inattentive behavior quietly accumulate. A thoughtful apology validates these feelings and demonstrates care. Apologizing promotes growth. It fosters empathy, accountability, and self-awareness. Taking responsibility encourages healthier emotional patterns and strengthens trust. Delaying action increases the risk of permanent emotional distance. Time moves on, circumstances change, and opportunities to repair may vanish. Acting sincerely today restores clarity, reduces tension, and initiates healing. Sometimes subtle cues signal the need to apologize. Hesitation, quiet frustration, or withdrawal often reveal unresolved pain. Observing these patterns allows for proactive action to prevent emotional damage. Many broken hearts result from minor repeated oversights, ignored feelings, unattended needs, or small lapses quietly erode connection. A heartfelt apology addresses these patterns and reassures the person that their feelings are valued. Apologizing requires humility and courage. Facing mistakes openly, expressing empathy, and committing to change fosters trust and begins emotional repair. Procrastination can solidify emotional distance. Relationships may drift, opportunities may vanish, and regret may grow. Acting sincerely now restores clarity, eases tension, and starts healing. Sometimes the realization to apologize comes unexpectedly. A sudden memory, a reflective moment, or noticing behavioral changes can highlight unresolved hurt. Acting promptly prevents further strain. Many broken hearts arise from repeated small oversights rather than intentional harm. Missed gestures, ignored cues, or inattentive behavior quietly accumulate. A thoughtful apology acknowledges these actions and demonstrates awareness. Apologizing nurtures emotional intelligence. It encourages humility, self-awareness, and empathy. Owning mistakes strengthens trust and creates space for healthier future interactions. Delaying reconciliation risks permanent separation. Distance may harden, opportunities may vanish, and unresolved tension may grow. Acting sincerely today restores clarity, reduces stress, and begins healing. Sometimes emotional distance becomes apparent only over time. Subtle withdrawal, hesitation, or lack of engagement signals unresolved issues. Recognizing these signs encourages timely action to prevent lasting damage. Many broken hearts form through minor repeated neglect rather than major conflicts. Ignored messages, unattended needs, or overlooked gestures quietly accumulate. A heartfelt apology validates these experiences and communicates awareness. Apologizing requires courage and honesty. Acknowledging mistakes without excuses, showing empathy and expressing genuine care fosters trust and begins emotional repair. Waiting too long can solidify distance. Life progresses, circumstances change, and chances to repair may disappear. Acting sincerely now restores clarity, eases tension, and initiates reconciliation. Sometimes reflection highlights unintentional mistakes, forgotten promises, overlooked gestures, or moments of inattentiveness can quietly leave emotional marks. Recognizing these moments allows for timely apologies. Many broken hearts arise from repeated minor lapses rather than deliberate harm. Ignored feelings, postponed conversations, or inattentive actions accumulate quietly. A sincere apology acknowledges these moments and reassures the other person. Apologizing fosters personal growth. It promotes empathy, accountability, and emotional intelligence. Taking responsibility strengthens relationships and encourages healthier communication in the future. Delaying reconciliation allows distance to deepen. Opportunities for repair may vanish, and resentment may grow. Acting sincerely today restores clarity, reduces tension, and begins the healing process. Sometimes the need to apologize becomes evident after noticing changes in behavior. Withdrawal, quiet frustration, or hesitation signals unresolved emotional pain. Acting promptly prevents further strain. Many broken hearts develop from small repeated oversights. Ignored cues, unattended needs, or forgotten gestures quietly erode trust. A heartfelt apology validates these experiences and demonstrates care. Apologizing requires humility and courage. Owning mistakes without excuses fosters empathy, strengthens trust, and initiates emotional repair. Procrastination can deepen emotional distance. Relationships may drift, opportunities may vanish, and regret may linger. Acting sincerely now restores clarity, eases tension, and begins healing. Sometimes subtle reflection reveals unresolved tension. A memory, a quiet observation, or noticing changed behavior can uncover emotional wounds that need addressing. Acting on these insights prevents escalation. Many broken hearts arise from minor repeated lapses rather than major conflicts. Ignored needs, missed gestures, or inattentive behavior quietly accumulate. A sincere apology acknowledges these moments and reassures the person that their feelings are valued. Apologizing nurtures growth and emotional resilience. It encourages humility, empathy, and accountability. Owning mistakes strengthens trust and creates healthier communication. Delaying reconciliation can solidify distance. Time passes, situations change, and opportunities may vanish. Acting sincerely today restores clarity, reduces tension, and begins emotional restoration. Sometimes the motivation to apologize comes after noticing emotional strain in interactions. Hesitation, quiet frustration, or subtle withdrawal indicates unresolved pain. Recognizing this encourages timely reconciliation. Many broken hearts are shaped by repeated minor oversights rather than intentional harm. Ignored feelings, missed gestures, or unattended needs quietly accumulate. A thoughtful apology acknowledges these lapses and communicates awareness. Apologizing requires courage and self-reflection. Admitting mistakes without excuses, showing empathy, and committing to change fosters trust and begins emotional repair. Delaying action risks permanent separation. Emotional distance may solidify, opportunities for repair may vanish, and regret may linger. Acting sincerely today restores clarity, reduces tension, and initiates healing. Life is too short to carry unresolved pain or unspoken apologies. Every moment we delay reconciliation allows distance and regret to grow. Taking responsibility, expressing genuine care, and approaching others with humility restores trust and opens the door to emotional healing. A heartfelt apology is not a sign of weakness. It is a reflection of courage, self-awareness, and love. It acknowledges the humanity in ourselves and others, validating feelings that were overlooked or neglected. Even small gestures can spark profound restoration. Healing broken hearts begins with action. Waiting for the perfect moment only prolongs suffering. Reaching out today with honesty, empathy, and sincerity can repair relationships, rebuild trust, and renew connection in ways we may never imagine. Remember, the path to emotional repair is always available if we choose courage over pride, action over hesitation, and understanding over resentment. Your willingness to apologize and heal can transform hearts, not just others, but your own as well.